6 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If you all like, please. Do the pledge of allegiance. Continue. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Bodo Johnson,
Here.
Katie Johnston, Diana Mendoza, here, Nikki Pettit, here, Heather Wilson, Robin Vaughn, here, John Pettit,
Here. Move on to action agenda. And I would like to make a correction to the agenda, and we'll remove 4E, which is the superintendent's evaluation until next month, which would then give us the time to look that over, and then we might have a little better discussion about that tool. So that's what we'd like to do, if that's okay. Well, next month, we can do that. Yeah, I don't see anybody saying hey to that, so that's good. Can I get somebody make the agenda?
Yes, I make a motion to amend the agenda and by removing item 4E. Otherwise, it can be as presented.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Katie, second it.
Oh, yes, you can, yes, okay, then we'll fix it later. Bodo Johnson.
Aye.
Katie Johnston. Aye. Diana Mendoza. Aye. Nikki Pettit.
Aye.
Robin Vaughn. Aye. John Brotherton.
Aye. Next is public comment. We do have one person at least that's comment. So ma'am, if you would be willing to come up, and sit there.
Okay, I'm gonna have to bring my grandson with me.
Certainly, whatever you need to do.
Okay. You'll have to bear with him. He may make noises. He's autistic. He doesn't speak. So
It's fine.
we're in a strange place.
Talk from there if it's more comfortable.
That's fine. I just want you to know if he makes noises, it's because he doesn't understand what we're doing.
I have a nephew, same exact way. He's
So
20.
he does the best he can at being in different environments.
We appreciate what you're doing.
There is a 5-minute timer board. I don't have it. Oh, it is up there.
So,
My name is Deborah McDonald. I have 5 children, grandchildren that come to school here in Ranch Hall. Zion is autistic. He's a level 3. He's nonverbal. Today was the first day of school. They told us to have him ready. The bus would be there at 10 till 7. Or, excuse me, 10 till 8. I apologize. So he has a speech device. We put it in his backpack, which is heavy because it was raining. We went to the door several times. The bus was 25 to 35 minutes late. I called the school. They said, yes, the first day of school. It's not the first day of school. I've lived in Rancho Old since 1968. We've had all those years that school started. He's autistic. He doesn't understand. He beat himself in the face waiting on the bus today. I don't know if he really understood it was school. So he's frustrated and I have to put him on a bus, which I didn't. His 10-year-old sister did. They didn't ask anything. I don't know if he was harnessed in. Last year, he used to wear a 5-point harness because he's not aggressive, but he goes to the windows. He likes to see what's going on. Okay. My 5th grade granddaughter is enrolled in RISE. She was supposed to be picked up at 10 till 9 today. She got picked up at 5 minutes till 10. Neither one of them had breakfast. It wasn't that I was ill prepared. It was, I was not given no notice that they were late. So she goes and eats breakfast, and an hour and 30 minutes later, she's expected to eat lunch. She's in RISE because she has problems listening to authority. What role model was this today? You want our kids to act one way, but adults don't take accountability. I called your superintendent. He told me if I'm calling about the complaints, he doesn't have time to talk to me. What do you mean? He doesn't speak. I had a nephew last year that was left in front of his home, 6 years old in the first grade. No one was at home. If you leave him, he'll end up in the cornfield in a ditch. Are you guys gonna come out and look for him with me? As long as he doesn't have a voice, and I don't mean to sound mean, I have to speak for him. His mother's a truck driver. She was in Indiana today. She couldn't come if something happens. We have to do better. Like I said, I've been here since 68. This isn't the first day of school. We've done it every year since 1968 when I was here. And for him to tell me in a condescending way, I was a nuisance or I was bothering him. That's what you got my granddaughter in Rise for. Because she didn't follow the rules. And I want to cry, so I'm trying not to. Because he can't defend himself. He can't tell us.
Yeah, I see your frustration. And I'm an emotional person as well, so if you need to cry, I'm not gonna think any less of you, I'm not gonna. think
I've had a headache all day long wondering if he's safe. I've left with him with strangers. Mom drops him off to me because she's got to get in her truck and go. And to find out I'm bothering you,
I ask, I'm sorry, I missed it, who said that to you?
the superintendent.
I know that, I hear you when you say that it was not the first day of school, because we've had first days before. But I know that today, it was the first day of school for me, and my daughter is now a freshman, so it's not that I haven't had first days before. But there were hiccups, and so maybe that's what they were trying to explain. I'm not saying that they used the right wording in order to explain all this to you, or that they took the time to explain all this to you. But maybe perhaps that's what they meant by saying it was the first day of school, that there's just going to be hiccups because it is the first day. I mean, like, I understand what you're saying, because it
We
was
didn't
not.
have a dress rehearsal. Football teams do scrimmages. We didn't have a dress rehearsal on a bus route.
I don't know how that works, since we contract out with first students. Not sure how the dress rehearsals and that type of thing. I don't know if those buses are available. I can check on that for you, but I don't know. But I regarding the how people are going to pick up my time in a time.
He doesn't understand me. He understands you keep going to the door and telling him to come away from the door. And then, of course, I'm a big person because I'm telling him, no, it's not come yet, Betty.
But what I'm hearing is, you would like to make sure that the buses are timely, and if they're not, to notify you of that.
It would be nice. Somebody take accountability. At my job, I have to take accountability for my actions. Point blank period.
I understand that saying.
So he doesn't understand what we're doing. How do I know they hooked him in on the bus? How do I know he's safe? Because what you showed me today is not safety or no concern for him and his mental health. Because as he's putting him in his face, that you guys were there to help me soothe him and calm him. And if I was late every day taking him to school, you guys would call and figure out why. I called to figure out why and I got chastised.
That's the question.
He has an IEP and my granddaughter has a 504. She's been suspended 26 times from your school. The psychiatrist is trying to figure out how you guys keep doing it.
26 times.
Last year, that's why she's in Rise.
there any type of bus monitor that should? Shouldn't have.
He should have a
Send
band
a
aid.
person within 24/7,
He should have an aid.
because,
They have his diagnosis. It's this thick. They've been giving it to him.
I know that for a fact.
His behavior doesn't matter. They don't throw him out of school, just the one with the 504. I'm trying to figure out and do the math here.
You have an advocate.
No, not at this time. But it's not making sense. I have a degree in accounting, and when you look at the bottom line, we're losing our kids. But we want our kids at this standard, but we could be down here. They only follow the basic.
We all. And. And I will. Question, just make a comment on the first day of this is not what they see. And it is for us, and it is difficult. I'm not excusing it. I'm saying it is difficult. And everybody picked up that first, there are so many ingredients in one. There's one more problem, so there's a lot. And this is for. And again, I'm not excusing it. I am not making excuses, but I'm saying this is our first day, and I know we'll do better.
That makes sense. Just like I was saying, I understand what you're saying about it not being the first day. And this was not the first day of school for me as well, but I was still had hiccups. So much so that my sister was frustrated with it. That's how sometimes unfortunately. But like Mr. Brotherson said, we will do better. This is not our norm. I would understand. That you want to. I don't know what the right word is. But, it continues to happen. RCS has that, right. I'm just giving a time frame of when it does take just a minute for us to get especially the bus, because it can be so difficult, because there's so many parts.
Excuse me, Ms. Pettit, who is she supposed to come and see?
I
You
just
said
said
come and
us,
see us. I mean,
just like she did us.
well, see, I think the drink or off of the, competition. Supposedly come and the attitude, very careless. I don't have time to talk to you. I don't know how much of that is true. I'm just going off the, grandparent. So I don't think it's much
Thank you.
of the bus being late and her not understanding that there are always going to be different things that happen during the first day of school. It's just when she calls and wants rebuttal, she gets blown off.
Okay, that's where I don't think that she was necessarily. Again, I'm gonna go back to the first case. Okay, when you're trying to manage Shader, President Acres. Super, I'm sure he was busy too.
I'm sure he was there.
So I don't think that it was, he meant to be condescending or at least. I am not. So I don't, that's not his norm. To pay. And so I think today it is, it was a combination of lots of day mishaps all in one. Yes, so all of that. Because again, that's not the norm for them, nor is the norm.
Thank you very much.
But thank you very much for bringing it to our attention.
Oh, my person's over there. Hand plate. And thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in.
Hang on. I got some.
And this will be on record that I came here, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
All video.
Yeah.
Audio and video. Thank you. Any other public comments?
Well, sign.
So we're moving to a 5. And, you're on, sorry.
All right, well, I'm not gonna read the whole consent agenda
Oh,
through
come on.
to you, but I do want to welcome, if you wanna come up to the hot seat. The board, you hired her last month, and she starts the next Monday. Woo! So we got that in. So I'm introducing Rebecca Ramey. Following graduating from the University of Illinois, Rebecca Ramey started her career at Wiley Elementary School in Urbana, Illinois, as a special education teacher. She then moved into a district special education instructional coach role in Urbana for 2 years, supporting all schools in the district, as well as case managing students at Circle, Pavilion Foundation School, and Ready. She then became an instructional coach at Garden Hills Academy in Champaign with a focus on behavior and social emotional learning. Rebecca received her master's degree in education policy and leadership from the University of Illinois and spent the last 5 years as an assistant principal at Booker T. Washington STEM Academy in Champaign. And you already hired her, so she doesn't have to wait. So congratulations and welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you for being here. We should applaud.
You want to say anything? You don't have to.
Oh,
I didn't tell you you might.
no, we didn't, but I do have something to say, and I just want to thank you all for this opportunity. I'm so excited to be here. In the first couple of days that I've spent, obviously more now, but in just the few leadership days we did with Dr. Woods and the team here, I am over the moon about the support and the trust. And my first day at East Lawn today with students was more than I could have asked for. It was amazing, and I am beyond excited to be a part of this community and a part of this team. So I just really want to thank each of you for giving me this opportunity. And I am just over the moon. So just thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Woods, for your support. I feel safe and valued. So thank you for that. All right.
Thank you.
That's great.
Do you have anyone you'd like to introduce?
This gorgeous gal. That is my wife, Diana Kissler, Diana Kissler Ramey. And she will be at Northview. Specialist, and her understanding of reading is beyond this world. So I can't wait for you guys to see the skills she offers, but we feel so excited to be here. And I really just can't thank you guys enough for giving us a shot and taking a chance. And I promise you will.
And I will add, I had no hand in hiring her spouse, that the principals hire their own teachers, and that was a whole separate thing.
Yes, it was. And yeah, so,
Yeah.
but I believe that, what her and I have to bring to this community will be, great. And I can't wait to learn from everyone here. We just want to learn with, from, and about everyone. So I'm over the moon. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right.
And
I'm not gonna say more.
my evaluation tool, you tabled it until next month.
Welcome both of you.
Thank you so much.
Very nice to meet you.
So if I don't have, unless you want more explanation on anything, I'm done.
All set.
Well, we have to approve it.
Oh, whoops.
And Tyler's not here.
I can be glad to say anything different. Since we
Nope.
make a motion to approve the consent agenda items in personnel report as submitted with the stipulation that each individual is required to comply with all requirements for new hires as indicated in Illinois statutes and RCS board policy and procedures, including ratification of bills prepaid by the finance manager under board policy 4.50.
I'll second Bonnie made a comment. I think Tyler's done the job. He's got it.
Steve, well, thank you.
Malcolm Johnson.
Aye.
Katie Johnston.
Aye.
Diana Mendoza.
Aye.
Vicky Pettit,
Aye.
Robin Vaughn. Aye. John Brotherton.
Aye. 6, fiscal year tentative budget.
Yep. 5. Oh, I'm sorry.
5.
5 is done.
No, you're right.
Consent.
Yeah.
You probably don't need much discussion, but there will be a hearing next month. And Chris Johnson will be here next month to answer any questions you might have about it. So it's definitely still being built, but by statute, we have to post it 30 days in advance, which was Tuesday. And then the ask here is to approve the tentative budget, which actually isn't required, but it's something we typically done.
I'll make the motion. I get a second.
I second it.
I second.
John Brotherton,
Aye.
Robin Vaughn. Vicky Pettit,
Aye.
Diana Mendoza.
Aye.
Katie Johnston.
Aye.
Rhoda Johnson.
Aye. 7, action bid project approvals.
All right, so I did email the board, this week, so, when the main entry area at Broad Meadow Project was approved in March of 2023, we had, I think 4 alternate bids on there for different things that could have been added on. At the time, the recommendation based on our finances was only to do base bid 1. We do have ESSER 3 funds that need to be spent down by the end of September, if I recall correctly. And so also, if you've been to Broad Meadow, you can tell the way it looks right now. We probably need a canopy over the new entrance. Otherwise, everybody's just going to walk up to a brick wall. So the recommendation point is to go ahead and approve alternate bid 2, which was already put out to bid in March of 2023. We had 1 bidder. It was Rohr and Russo. They're the ones doing the project. Just to note, though, this would not be until next summer that they would do the work. And here is a picture of how exciting it is. Not very exciting. We've had some canopy discussions over the years. But I hopefully now you understand what this looks like, because we do have something like this at East Lawn and Pleasant Acres already. So it's not just, something you would put up in your backyard. It's a large structure. There's lights. I don't see lights in the picture, but they've had lights under them. And it gives a dry area, which was needed this morning. I mean, they could do it during the school year, but I don't know how that would work. But we can certainly ask. Yeah. It would shut down access to the main entrance, I think, for part of the construction time, but I mean, we can definitely ask. But do you have an answer already, Jenny?
I think the delay is the timeline on the production of the actual canopy. It's more that.
That makes sense.
Do they have the class in them?
No, and I'm gonna update you on the construction stuff later.
I won't landscape no questions.
And you can.
What you said. You finished the plan.
So I make a motion to amend the bid award for March 2023 for main office renovations at Broad Meadow Elementary School to include alternate 2.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Rhoda Johnson.
Aye.
Katie Johnston.
Aye.
Diana Mendoza.
Aye.
Vicky Pettit,
Aye.
Robin Vaughn,
Aye.
John Brotherton.
Aye. Great, district improvement plan.
All right, last month I provided copies of the draft district improvement plan, and I just wanted to revisit it this month to see if anyone had any questions, concerns, thoughts on it. Or you can email me. It's up to you all. Sure, you can have a recap. It's right here. Okay, so this was work that we started on May 26th with the IASB, identifying priority areas, vision statements for each priority area. So The reality is a lot of the initial steps on this are already starting because it's supposed to start this school year. And so we had 3 priority areas that were identified by the board. So, and the important thing is for the board to know is what's happening over here in the far right side column, which is the 3-year plan. So we are working on, we do have a literacy plan. I don't want you to think we don't, but there are things we are doing as a focus on literacy this year already that are intended to improve student achievement in curriculum. So for instance, there's a group of administrators who are going through a specific literacy training to support the let's call it letters, to support some of the reading work that our kindergarten and first grade teachers did last year. So that training is continuing for the teachers, but now administrators are doing it. And there's going to be a district-wide book study for pre-K-5 on the topic of the science of reading that all of our teachers will be doing at pre-K-5. So that's where, when we say that's the focus, so there's a whole set of activities happening that I think also support the goals. So we're investing in we're investing in staff development. Part of this is also looking at interventions and monitoring. And so we're doing that for academic achievement. The next one is school climate and behavior, and you can see what we're focusing on for year 1. School safety. What I can tell you on what's happening in year 1 on that one is we are working with our new school resource officer to develop a reunification plan, which we have evacuation plans, but we don't have solid plans in place for what happens if we have a true emergency and then have to reunite all of the kids with their families. So that's the main step this year. Going into 4 and 5, I can't see one on my screen. And cultivate mutual trust and collaborative relationships. I feel like year 1 is a little vague the way it is stated, but what we do have specific steps outlined in what we're doing in terms of developing a parent group this year, similar to our bilingual parent committee, but for not just our bilingual parents, we're trying to get that up and going. So that group would then be able to provide feedback to district administration on what families want to see in terms of whether it's programming, activities, educational opportunities for parents. Also on goals, A and B are up. A is updated content. We're in the process of, at some point we're launching a new website and that will come out, which in that is updating content. We've launched Parent Square already as far as how to increase communication, better communication. I told board member Pettit that we're reaching over 99% of our families now are getting the messages. That doesn't mean they're reading them, but we know that they're getting it either through phone, text, or email. And we did not have that ability. So that's what's happening with district community relations. Area 5, programs and services. Year 1, focus on needs assessment and resource allocation. So part of what we're planning to do on that one is start doing some surveys. So we'd be working with this parent group, ideally from the previous one, and identifying what students and parents see as needs particularly for extracurricular programming and instructional programming. So what do people actually think is missing? That would be what we're doing in year 1. But the further you get out, I cannot give you much detail as to what we're planning in year 3. But the idea is just to set a target for us. And again, there's more in this document. This is just a short recap. So what I would encourage you to do is look over the document. I could send you all the more detailed one, but it's very draft. Get further into it, more years out. And then I appreciate your feedback on it. And then if there's things you think are missing, You want clarification, we're doing the same thing with our building administrators right now.
You know, if you go back to the first two goals, where we're talking math and literacy, how do you know if that specific program is working? Is there like an evaluation tool that we're gonna develop to understand whether the program is effective or if we're in the right direction, or if we need to change things up?
Yes, so, well, any new program you start to implement, you need 3 to 5 years at least to see any kind of measurable results. Is that, I say it right, Denny? That's what you
I
usually
just
know.
need to correct, letters is not, it's not a
Sure.
program. It's
So-
basically, it's college level instruction on how children learn how to read. So we're strengthening teachers' understanding of how the brain works and how people learn how to read. So it would then be applicable no matter what curriculum tools they're using, because they have strong instructional tools to use to be able to do that.
Okay.
But we have assessment data constantly on these things, so we would expect to start to see improvements, and we are already. So the other one thing I want to clarify is when it says focus on math next year, don't want you to think we're not doing anything with math right now, okay? We are, there's actually professional development for math at K-5 happening this year also. But there's pieces of it that are much more detailed projects that we need to get through. And also, one thing I'm big on is we need to publish it when we're done with it. So just, if we develop a target in here as a 3-year professional development plan for literacy for teachers. So once we have that developed, we reviewed it, I should say, and made modifications. To me, that's something we have to publish for our, at least for our staff to see, so they know the long-term planning. Again, we've done a lot of these things, and I think part of this is making sure we're consistently communicating it to our, in this category, our employees is a big group, so they know where we're headed. And also making sure our families understand. It's a different language when you're communicating with families about literacy, right? So, I don't know if we answered your question, Rob.
I think you kind of did. I would be interested in, I guess the scientific side of my brain goes to tracking this to see how well we do with it, with each phase of it. And like you mentioned later, publish that data. So not only we can learn from it, but other districts can learn from what we're doing here. Whether it's beneficial or whether we need to change directions.
And year 3 on that one in particular is, that is intended that we would start a program evaluation of all of our reading and language arts instruction. So we're gonna, I feel like this year the big focus really is on professional development with our teachers. It includes things too, like tying in the strategies they're learning into their evaluation. So are we seeing them in the classroom when we're in evaluating? So there's all of those pieces that we're looking to do. I will say, to be fair, I think priority areas 1 and 2 are the big items on this plan. And while the other 3 are important, they're the first 2 are really just about teaching and learning with our students. And that's the most important thing that we got to get done.
I have a similar question to Robert's. Do we have a grade for how we're doing? Like, I know, I just feel like,
So the school,
are
the
they
sort of work card?
Yes.
So they don't rate districts on the district report card,
Oh,
they
okay.
do by school.
Oh,
So that's where you get the commendable, exemplary.
that's what all those that you explained
Yep.
to us. So
Some
did we
states
go
do
up?
A, B, C, D, F.
Right.
Yeah, some states do that.
For the high school, is it a grade?
No,
Oh,
it is, I don't think, no, I think it's,
I thought it was a grade.
so.
So did we went up this year? Yes.
Actually, last year, I remember saying this, how disappointed I was that all of our schools had really good improvement, including especially Aider. But because of the way the state scores it, they didn't place them in the commendable category, even though Aider scored higher than many schools that got that grade. So it's not the way the state does the grade. It's not just where you score on all of these things. It's how long have you scored at all of those things. So yeah, I think, so we've seen our preliminary data and I'm embargoed. I'm not allowed to talk about it until October 31st, but if you talk to me privately, I can
Okay.
tell you. some things.
You can look it up.
But this year's data is not public yet.
I had a question for Ms. Fair. On this, thing that you're bringing into the school, are there other districts that do that you know of, or where did you learn about this?
What, do you
The
mean the
letters.
letters?
Yes.
Actually, yes, a lot of other districts in the area have been doing it. As a matter of fact, the state is looking at making it a statewide requirement, so we'll be ahead of the curve.
Okay, so it's a,
And I think the funding, potentially what the word on the street is in the education realm is that hopefully by next year, the state's going to actually provide the funding for it to continue. So,
Yeah, and it's a major shift at the state level. The state came out with a literacy framework last year that represents, I would say, a significant shift in the expectations of how reading is taught. And yeah, so it's a statewide.
is it any close districts that's doing this, or are these all districts, you know,
Yeah.
like up for Chicago or something? like
No,
that?
it's all over.
yeah, Urbana was one of them.
Urbana's one of them, okay.
Yeah, we're hosting the training for administrators we're hosting it, we're not providing it. And we had, administrators from Hubston and,
Gibson
I
City.
thought I say it wrong, Hubston and
Gibson
Gibson
City.
City were there, for that one. So, yeah, it's also, when we host trainings, we might have people from other districts joining in too, because it's a college class. So we started the investment in it last year. All of our pre-K, K, and first grade teachers went through the first half of, they went through 4 full days of training, plus they had online coursework they had to do. This year, that's continuing with the first grade teachers, right? Keep me on task here. And I want to add in all of our special education co-teachers were also doing this. And they're continuing with the second full year of training too.
Is this affiliated with the college? Or-
No.
We can't get college credit through it, though.
That's what I was going to.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Yeah, the shift in the teacher world on how this is talked about is it's referred to as the science of reading. Now, what I'm going to oversimplify it. I promise I'm oversimplifying. But it is a shift, I would say, back to a much larger emphasis on what I would call phonics. And so there's a lot more to it. I can see myself, someone posting me on Facebook or something later. But that's probably the biggest shift, is the explicit instruction on things like what sounds letters make. And I think our teachers have always done those things, but it's shifting to that being the main thing that you're doing.
Like maybe explain the why behind doing it.
I don't know.
Okay.
I have only on through session 1.
Do you know, can this be applied to the bilingual?
Yeah, our bilingual staff are the instructional, so yeah, none of this is about the instructional materials. That's not what this is about,
It's not the teaching.
teaching and
Right.
what you're doing, how, and I also want to be very clear, it's not that we've been doing something wrong in any way
No.
up until now. There's an increasing amount of evidence that doing it this way should get you better results. And so that's why, for instance, the state is putting it out there. And as Jenny said, it may become a requirement that teachers have it. It would be great if colleges actually taught this to teachers before we got them, but that's kind of hit or miss.
feel like we didn't give you your due when you were giving us this presentation on this a couple months ago, so thank you for that.
You remembered. We didn't talk about it, yeah. So,
I see it going into the plan now and I say, okay, now it's coming together.
Yeah.
well, and that's the thing, for me, I mean, what is this, my third year? And my leadership team at the district level, it was kind of for me thinking, what does this look? We need to start, me personally need to start putting this in terms of longer term planning instead of just planning for the next year. So we were doing quite a bit of this work. And then when it was suggested the board do it, I was grateful that there was a lot of overlap. That we didn't have to start over. But, okay, so it's look into the details, ask questions, that's what it's for. And it's an accountability thing too, because for me and my team and for our building principals, it's ultimately it becomes a bit of a checklist too, is like, have we actually done these steps along the way?
What? And people move to 9, action item. Approve payment of $500 to Diana Mendoza.
And
Work related.
there's another one, oh, did I not put it in here?
Jam.
This is one I definitely needed to put in there. So I will explain on the behalf of the two board members. So
Thank you.
this is 9 and 10. And so Diana and John volunteered to be on a district committee. Jenny can chime in. It's in the agenda what the committee was about. When they signed up, I don't believe they knew they would also get paid. So then that was part of the grant project, was to pay the folks who were on the committee. The committee was mostly teachers, right, Jenny? And so then when it got to the point of making payment, it then got complicated because I don't know when we've ever paid board members. So you're not being paid to be board members, you're being paid for the work that you did. Both, I can go ahead and turn the screen off because it's not presenting anything. Both Diana and John have asked to defer the payment to something else. So we were trying to figure out through our business office, can we write a check directly to something on their behalf? And we can't, is what it came down to. So talking or communicating with both Diana and John, we do have a family right now that's in a very difficult situation, and their child has leukemia, and I know there's some upcoming fundraisers that are going to be happening. So Diana and John are going to get checks, assuming the board approves this. And what they have expressed is their intent to donate those funds. And I said I would help facilitate that however we want to do it, but the check has to go to them and they have to cash it. So, and you have to cash the check. So, but then board members can do whatever they want with the money, but I think publicly they wanted it to be known that their plan was to make this donation. So we have to have, now I've also learned that when a board member gets paid, you have to have a separate action item for each time. So there's one for John on here and one for Diana.
So I make a motion to approve payment of $500 to Diana Mendoza for work related to the World Readiness Standards for Learning Languages Committee pursuant to the Arts and Foreign Language Planning Grant.
Second that.
Moto Johnson.
Aye.
Katie Johnston.
Aye.
Diana Mendoza.
Aye.
Vicky Pettit.
Aye.
Robin Vaughn.
I,
John Brotherton.
I don't know. I can vote. I'm
Well,
looking.
yeah, should Diana have?
Right, should
So then,
Diana
yeah,
have voted?
she did, it's okay. Didn't make a difference in the outcome of, that's my opinion. I'm not our parliament
She's gonna
committee.
work what we're doing.
Right. So up to number 10.
I make a motion to approve the payment of $500 to John Brotherton for work related to the World Readiness Standards for Learning Languages Committee pursuant to the Arts and Foreign Language Planning Grant.
I'll second.
Okay.
go ahead.
No, but
82nd.
All right. Moto Johnson.
Aye.
Katie Johnston.
Aye.
Diana Mendoza.
Aye.
Vicky Pettit.
Aye.
Robin Vaughn, John Brotherton.
I agree. Ms. Justin. Rule number 11, information items.
All right,
FOIA
nothing,
requests.
nothing that exciting. We had one FOIA and we had one newspaper article, and that was about the gym dedication, which we get the board superintendent comments. I bet we'll have some comments. New business.
New business? Have any new business?
I'd like to, first of all, I'd like to thank Hannah and Ms. Crawford and Dr. Woods for, I guess, it's volunteering or at least helping out with the domestic violence fund. I think we're gonna try to get something done through Rancho City Schools with a few things that they got going on, and I don't want to say what it is because I'm not sure exactly, so I'll be just sitting there talking out the side of my neck. But from what I read on the email, it sounds like they're doing a tremendous job on helping out. I really do appreciate it. I'm on the committee, and I don't know yet. Mr. Mario got a hold of it yet, but I told you that I would mention it. But he said yesterday that, but thank you very much.
Okay. What else? Board and superintendent comments.
All right,
Want
so,
to go first?
well, I just did. I'm trying to toggle back and forth today, so I should stop toggling.
Let's go first.
Sure.
If I could go first, get a nice thank you. Not for mine, I'll just take a moment to read this. It says, this is from Mrs. Carter, thanking us for what we did. Many hours were devoted to motivating, shaping, and being a positive influence to our students and players. She's talking about herself and coach in the gym, so something that we will have a lifetime of memories for. Thank you so much for showing your appreciation of our service to the Rancho City family. Thought the dedication in the gym was outstanding. The dedication provided an opportunity for our community to come together and walk down memory lane. Sure did. It was like a family reunion. People are still talking about how much they enjoyed themselves. Thank each of you for your service to our community. That's the board. Thank you, board.
Thank you.
For doing this, and I thought it went very well. And I will repeat what I said, the dedication, Dr. Woods and Anna did just an outstanding job. It's so nice. And my wife too.
And your love for fight.
Certainly contribute to this, and it was very, especially for me, very, I'll speak for myself here, very, very nice that we were able to honor these two people because they richly deserve it. So,
They did. So again, thank you for bringing it up initially. And also, it was so much fun seeing all my old teachers. I
yes.
shouldn't say that because they're gonna think that I'm calling them old, and I am not. Because I am old now too, but it was just fun seeing everyone. It really was. It was great.
Fantastic turnout.
It really was.
I can't, there was no negative. This is all very.
Seeing Mr. Key, man, that's just great. That was lots and lots of fun. So thank you.
Board members? What else?
I'll add Moto took a lot of pictures. Some of you have seen that I was building a website behind the scenes that, for as long as websites last, I think they last forever, I don't know. So it has a lot of information about the two honorees. And now I'm gonna be able to add the pictures from the event and things. So at some point it'll go public, but school started today, so it's not done yet. But yeah, there's a lot of good pictures.
School started.
All right, okay.
Superintendent, you're
Say
able to
one
have
more
more.
quick thing.
Yeah.
Thanks to the teachers for a great first day and the Meet the Teachers event. I saw a lot of parents out there yesterday. And I think that it's just like a well-received, like really helpful thing and kind of
Good.
eases the nerves of the kids by everything I saw. So thank you to the
Fantastic.
So that kind of, I'll do opening day stuff first. So the youth teacher nights, very happy that we were able to do that. I do want to share that I do think the junior high is going to do something different next year. They would like, and that's, they've been talking to me about it, but the main idea for them is, and it was obvious last night when I was there, there's a lot of sixth graders there. They need to have an event for sixth grade, and that's what they want to do. And they don't really need to do that same thing for seventh and eighth grade students. So that's going to be their focus. The elementary school I was at, it was hopping, so then we had today. So I wanted to update the board on a couple things from today. So I sent out a facilities update to our teachers because everybody's back. And the good news is the buildings actually look very, very good. The challenge is, we're operating out of 7 sites right now. 6 of the 7 sites had construction projects this summer. So there's a handful of things that might not look right. You go into a building right now. So a lot of it has to do with doors. So many of our doors and the doors to classrooms and in the hallways do not yet have the glass in them. So it has plywood. So I felt the need today to reassure our staff that plywood is not the finished look, and there will be glass coming. That was the main thing on the construction. Also around the doors, when they have to remove the masonry, and Jenny talked about this last month, it does damage the wall, it damages the tile. That finishing work is not done. There's repairs that will have to be done and painting that will have to be done. But the priority is, do you have a door? Does it shut? Does it lock? And speaking of locks, I think all doors had locks. That didn't 100% mean the teacher had the key that matched the lock. So, but they're all out there. It's a matter of getting everything in the right place. But I think the facilities look really good. Pleasant Acres, they've got the construction going on. So when you look down that hallway now, you see a drywalled off wall at the end, and there's a classroom that you can get into when you go around the drywall. But otherwise, wasn't noticeable to me. So with all the construction we have going on, I think we were in a really good place with it. Anything that's not done, I would call a hiccup at this point. So glass and doors, it didn't prevent us from opening in any way. What?
Locker.
Oh, I forgot. I did. There's something in my brain that says don't talk about the lockers. So yeah, Jenny, do you remember, or Tom, what happened that we don't have the lockers? You got held up in customs, is what last I remember. Okay. So they were held up in customs. Shipping. That's problematic. So we'll call it a shipping problem. And so it's night, we now know what it looks like at Ader without lockers in the 8th grade hallway. And in the locker, you go in and you stand up now, you can go all the way up. Yeah. I wonder how many kids did that. So they don't watch our board meetings, so I think we're safe. So yeah, I did forget that one.
That's why I'm here to remind you.
Thank you. I think the biggest piece of feedback I had today was about transportation. And so there were some new things going on today that were very different than in previous years. The transportation company for a student has been running practice routes. And I have explained this to anybody who's called to talk to me. But they have run practice routes, but running a practice route is very different than the real route when potentially kids aren't ready. Kids aren't at the bus stop. Some of our routes, you may have students who are not cooperative getting on the bus and need additional assistance, and all of those things cause delays. So the priority, and this is normal every year that we would have late buses. All of our district administrators were at buildings to make sure that every student was getting to the right school, and that we were there until all the buses delivered. I guess I'm not explaining what the big change was. Big changes this year are that our students who would have been in self-contained programming at Northview for special education are now going to 4 different buildings. So instead of buses all picking up those students, and most of those students get what's called door-to-door transportation. So they're picked up at their house in the morning and they're taken directly to the school. So, and now we were running multiple routes going to 4 different schools instead of multiple routes going to the one. And then add to that we had 3 different buses running to support the changes of the bilingual program, and including shuttle buses. So there were definitely delays. And we've been in communication all day with First Student. I don't think it was anything intentional on First Student. They're fully staffed. They have all their drivers. The delays were simply about. Again, I'm not trying to blame anyone, because when I say kids weren't getting on the buses, I mean, that's expected to an extent. I will add, because I feel I need to, that I did have a conversation with one parent today. Mr. Henderson was present with me during that conversation. I never once in any way whatsoever said I did not have time for a complaint or tell the person they were a nuisance or tell the person they were bothering. So, and Mr. Henderson was present while I was having that phone call. That's all I have for opening day. If,
Can I add?
yeah, add
something?
something.
So the curb to curb, I'm gonna correct you, it's not door to door, it's curb to curb, that's very important in my world.
Yeah, the bus doesn't drive up to the.
Yes, there is a process internally that when a bus is late, my assistant personally calls every parent and lets them know, hey, we're 10 minutes behind. But if the schools aren't informed that the bus is late, we can't contact parents. So, yes, we do have a process that's always been in place. That's always been our practice. So,
Is there a monitor? on
yes,
the
yep, our
bus?
curb to curb routes have monitors.
All of them.
Some of them have monitors and RCS paid TAs that ride bus.
Why did you say something when she was here?
It's not appropriate for me to interrupt. public
We're not
comments.
gonna talk to it.
Yeah.
But I would say that when someone calls and asks us those questions, we did provide those answers. So,
Are you able to follow up with First Student and find out if they communicated with you that the bus was?
Yeah, actually, I already reached out to First Student for today's meeting about concerns that I had. So yes, those things have already. I was
Yeah, and
actually
we're
at
not-
Eastland today.
we're not making excuses. The conversations I had, I fully agree with the parents.
Mhm.
It's not okay.
Is this the first year for that student? That Rantoul City School had a,
I am not gonna comment on individual students.
oh,
It is not the first year that we've had curb to curb and had
I just.
systems in
I
place.
didn't know if he was enrolled in Rantoul City School for the first time this year. And that's the reason the grandparents, so.
I doubt it. I don't know, but I know. But I do have a question. Is the difficulty with the bus route, does it have anything at all to do with the switch that we made with the bilingual stuff? Or
I-
those,
There were more changes this year than in a normal year. I think that's the big, so we have
okay,
changes within special education programming and changes in bilingual.
And changes at First
Student. And, yeah, changes at First Student. So and we've increased the number of buses we're running overall too. So, but again, I actually don't know that the complications we had today are more than what we normally have on the first day.
sure, and I understand that. I guess what I'm getting at is, I remember when we were talking about the bilingual program changing, teachers kept saying that nobody's talking about the special education program, nobody's talking about the special education program, nobody's talking about the special education program, and it didn't sink in until maybe just now. Is that what they're talking about, that the way that the special education program is handled had to change because of the bilingual program? I'm just trying to understand No, it did
No,
not.
and it's specifically thinking about busing, the changes with bilingual don't really impact our curb to curb busing. Two totally separate buses, and just in general, the changes that we made with switching to homeschools is a great thing that I advocated for and I think is wonderful for us.
So that's good. It's not, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And we have, we've never tried to run shuttle buses. And I can assure you that shuttle buses are being accessed by our bilingual families who have kids at both schools, Pleasant Acres and Eastland. We reached out personally and spoke to every family about those shuttle buses, about times and where they're picked up and how it works. And so that every family that had access to ride those buses knew what the plan was. It doesn't help when on the first day they get picked up late. So we know that, but,
And nobody
and
wants that.
we only had one student, I think, that ended up at the wrong school, which was actually the right school. So the bus dropped her off where they were supposed to. And we were able to get that student switched back. So
So why are you saying it's the wrong school?
it was the right school, but that's not where the parent thought the kid was going. So, but we used our new van and we shuttled several kids around. I know Tanya Carter went out, found some Rise kids that missed their bus. It was over an hour late. So we went out, found. So, yeah, I mean, overall though, I mean, I think we had a very good first day. Yeah, I was anyway.
Well, but
But yeah, I knew busing was gonna come up because I did have some phone calls about that. So one thing I emailed about was scheduling a special meeting with RSP, that's the consulting group that did demographics. I think we have a better solution than a special meeting if the board is okay with it. I don't know why I didn't think of this. We have a regular meeting on September 19th. Are you okay with RSP coming in for that meeting and doing the presentation and Q&A? It's going to be a longer meeting because of that, but it would prevent us from having to have a second special meeting. So we're already meeting on September 19th.
Yeah.
We'll assume Tyler will be there. So, all right. And so again, that was we had them do the enrollment analysis and my team has seen the preliminary report. And so we'll plan on them coming on September 19th. I'm going to schedule them first. And they may take an hour just on the presentation. So be ready. And it's a lot of numbers. But we'll give you the presentation in
you
advance.
come in early then? Because I really don't want to be here late.
That is up to the board.
I would be late for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't,
We could
if
keep.
you wanna do it.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna shorten the regular, I thought this was gonna be a short meeting tonight too, but, yeah, there's what we have on the agenda next month is the budget, which typically is 5 minutes, because they'll do the hearing and then, it's typically approved. That's the only thing I know of that has to be on the business agenda. We don't have any presentations unless you ask for presentations. This would be the one presentation.
Okay.
All right. I think it's preferable to do it on a night. you're
Yes,
already-
that we're already here. When it's already scheduled. Yes, I just don't want to be here. Okay.
Yeah, but how long, Tom and Jenny, you remember how long the presentation was with us? About an hour. It was an hour and I was asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
No, I'm a question.
Scott was thrilled by the graphs and the charts and everything.
I mean, there were some pretty. Okay, the next board meeting is September 19th. That's the last thing I have.
14.
Oh, wait. No, can I show the video?
Yes.
Not everybody was there for opening day.
Oh, I found some stuff.
I'm not showing the full 9-minute video, but this was the cute video we did. So hopefully it has sound. You only hear out loud. Oh, okay. And the crowd went wild.
Like that. Come on, boom.
So it was fun. And then all the school, don't play again. Yeah, okay. Then all the schools had little video clips that were put in and then we played games. Leave it at that. Motion for closed session.
Yes.
I make a motion to move to closed session regarding the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, and dismissal of specific employees in litigation.
Bodo Johnson,
Aye.
Katie Johnston,
Aye.
Diana Mendoza,
Aye.
Vicky Pettit,
Aye.
Robin Vaughn, John Brotherton.
Aye.
Okay. And for the public, we have, the only people in the room are about to leave. And there may be action following this, but we're not going to re-record. We're just gonna go ahead and shut down the recording. I need to stop.